Hello out there and welcome to Public Conscience. This is the anti-corruption program produced by the Progressive Impact Organization for Community Development, PRIMOG. PRIMOG is a civil society organization with the mandate to promote good governance, participation, and accountability in Nigeria. I am Adaobi Obiabumo with Esther Bassi.
Welcome to the program.
On Public Conscience on Radio, we seek to evolve a corruption-free society through the amplification of corruption stories reported by our partner media organizations and drawing citizens and government attention for democratic actions against it. We also promote integrity by focusing on the rare cases of the display of honesty by public and private individuals in the course of their normal activities. The MacArthur Foundation supports the production of this program.
Today we will be beaming the searchlights on the life of an integrity icon as we celebrate his exemplary lifestyle today. We will also have broad conversation on the declining integrity of the Nigerian society.
One popular definition of integrity is doing the right thing even when no one is watching. Although these days, many factors are increasingly affecting the act of doing what is right in favor of wrongdoings. In Nigeria today, we live in a society that celebrates riches without questioning what people did to acquire wealth. And this scenario has slowly but surely defined the new normal for the younger generation who aim to be rich by every possible means.
We are all aware of the recent spate of ritual killings reported across the country. To make matters worse and serious, some of the killings were orchestrated by young people. The killings cannot be unconnected with quick success syndrome, which has been erroneously promoted in our society over time.
On the side of public officers and political office holders, Nigerians have seen the concept of integrity gradually eroded over the years owing to a range of unethical behaviors that propel corrupt practices such as treasury plundering, bribery, disregard for the rule of law, abuse of contracting and procurement processes, and so on. Nevertheless, some Nigerians are still standing on integrity and will stop at nothing to ensure standards are not compromised.
Comrade Ibrahim Musa Kerfi, who was honored as a 2021 integrity icon by Accountability Lab Nigeria, is one of those public officers blazing the trail in the display of honesty and resilience in seeing that things are done right in the public service. He is renowned for his uprightness when he refused a lot of monetary offers and contract advances running into millions of naira made to him during his time as union leader.
I will bring in my guests shortly, but first, let me remind you that just like the people in leadership positions, citizens are vital in building a Nigeria of honest and upright people. So whether you are a taxi driver, artisan, a trader, or an employee in a private or public office, how honest are you in the discharge of your duties, especially when no one is watching? Do you know that our society will be better if citizens display integrity in their everyday lives? And do you know that if the majority of Nigerians display integrity in their daily lives, our leaders will be less likely to be corrupt?
Be ready to join us through phone and text messages in the course of the conversation. The WhatsApp phone line to send your message is 0902-265-6167. That is 0902-265-6167. Please indicate your name and your location when sending your message. This number is for messages only.
Please begin to send your messages as soon as possible to 0902-265-6167. That is 0902-265-6167. We will give you the numbers to call shortly.
The issue of the low level of integrity in Nigeria's public and private sectors remain a troubling phenomenon. It has become Nigeria's biggest challenge, affecting all areas of development.
The effect of lack of integrity by our political office holders is visible, and it is the reason our dear country is still struggling to deliver good governance. It is the same reason we are still backward in infrastructural development, healthcare, education, and so on. Accountability Lab Nigeria, in its effort to celebrate and support honest government officials to change the narrative around corruption and build coalitions for reform, honored Comrade Ibrahim Musa Kirfi as an integrity icon in 2021.
Joining us in the studio to discuss the declining integrity of the Nigerian society and celebrate the good deeds of Comrade Ibrahim Musa Kirfi is the communication lead at Accountability Lab, Prince Chimaroke Chukwuka, who would be joining us very soon.
We are also joined on the phone by Comrade Ibrahim Musa Kirfi. Welcome to the program, Comrade. Okay, I would say congratulations on your recognition as a 2021 integrity icon. Could you tell us your motivation in becoming a person of integrity despite the pressure on you to compromise your values back then? And what are some of the remarkable steps you took in becoming a person of integrity?
As you today, I remain Comrade Ibrahim Kirfi, Chairman, Amalgamated Union of Public Corporations, Civil Service, Technical and Educational Service Employees, OCTA, Corporate Affairs Commission Branch. As you said, honestly, integrity entails doing the right thing, when no one is watching you. I thank you for congratulating me for being one of the integrity icons in 2001 and 2021, chosen by the Accountability Lab. Actually, there are a lot of motivations. What motivated me is a combination of factors. First, the fear of God. Secondly, the parental training we get from home. And thirdly, the union leadership training that we get from OPTA. Why I raise the two is that because when like in Nigeria, virtually everybody, most people are either Muslims or Christians. And no religious system, no religious book that says do this thing that is wrong. All religious statements tilt us towards doing the right thing. But the funny thing about people disobey those religious tenets. When it comes to committing crimes, they forget about their religious background. They play the major role. Secondly, the parental training. The background we got right from home. Don't do this, don't lie. Whatever you see that is not yours, don't take it. Whatever that doesn't belong to you, it doesn't belong to you. And thirdly, after, I'm not bragging, among all the unions in Nigeria, there is no union that used to stand firm on integrity like OPTA. Because OPTA does not compromise on issues when it comes to the interests of their members. When it comes to their rights and privileges, they will never compromise with that. But it's not that doesn't mean that they don't discuss. There's a concept of social dialogue. They discuss with the management, but they will make sure from their angle they don't compromise the interests of their members.
For the benefit of the person listening to you, when you said OPTA, what does it mean?
That's why I started by calling the full name. Amalgamated Union of Public Corporations, Civil Service, Technical and Recreational Service Employees. It's an acronym of the name of the union, and that's what that is.
Okay.
Is the acronym.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. And you asked me whether there is remarkable steps I took in becoming an integrity icon. One thing for you to know with regard to the accountability lab is that you will never know. I never even heard of them. You will never know they are the ones. You will never even know it's something serious. Because initially when they contacted me, I thought it was even when you see any new number, you create as soon as they come until the communication proved to you that the person is not a scammer. So when they started contacting me, I was not serious because I never believed there's something like this can come up. So at the end of the day, when they came and agreed me, did the documentary on me, that was when I got to know that yes, this people mean business. What they are doing, actually, what the step I took, they are like unconscious because you are doing those things without even thinking or knowing something will come to you in the future in this way. One is that as a leader, when you promise your members, you hold the promise you make your members. Whether good or bad, you hold the promise and do your own best. It's no composite that at always you must get results. But where constructing and begin engagement with the management, your members will see your efforts. You conduct researches, ensure that you are up to date on issue of welfare with your members, you look at your members, you have to change your schedules, and you don't play with the schedules, and then pursue self-development strategies that will enhance and improve your ability to really engage management or to represent at any fora.
Okay, so
these are the unconscious steps that I took without even knowing that they would catapult me into becoming an integrity icon.
Okay, so you've mentioned self-development as one of the steps that you took to becoming an integrity icon. But we'd also want to know, since you're being named this integrity icon last year, what has been your feeling and experience with people around you, and what are you doing to raise people like you?
Honestly, I felt so great. I felt proud and happy because it shows me that when you are doing the right thing without anybody noticing what you are doing or knowing what you are doing, one day somebody or some people or somewhere something will recognize what you are doing. Honestly, I feel great, and people that are around me, they feel great and they feel proud and inspired. A lot of people were inspired. A lot of people that are around me, like my former students, my family, my friends, my colleagues, our comrades, they proved it to the journey.
So you are positively affecting? If you can hear me, are you positively influencing those within your circle of influence?
Yes, I'm doing very well on that because one of the cardinal principles of our union is mentorship, mentoring people that are around you. Our colleagues, what I started doing was I called my children and sat them down. I showed them the hours. I said, do you know what that means? I spent from A to Z to them on what they need to do to achieve something like this in the future. What I believe is that if you are to raise people to your level, you've not done enough. If the target is for you to neutralize yourself, you should be able to influence and train people that can surpass you in terms of performance. That's when you neutralize yourself.
Okay, so you would also agree with me that people like you are not too many in the public sector. We've heard all people talk about corruption. In fact, on the corruption perception index, we ranked very low. So what do you think is discouraging more public servants from being honest during their time in service?
Honestly, what mostly discourages people from being honest and service, one, there's a very poor package. Not a good system of reward and incentive. Poor salary structure that is consistently being signified by consistent hyperinflationary trends in the society. That's because they even in the city and corporate mediocrity, lack of transparency in promotion, with just promotion arrangements, difficulty in assessing even the legal pension people need to hire to get outside department. And the lack of recognition by previous employees. You can't ignore some people when they work in a place, when they go back, they will be seen as a growth.
Okay.
And the society looks down on the retirees as their liability. People don't value them, leading to frustration and so on with terminal illness.
So do you
sometimes, and as they say, history is a good teacher. You will find people that refuse to skip and end up with that in a very miserable life. So people that are in the system of the time, we are taking people from people that have this position, higher this position before us. They never cope and their life are miserable, and nobody wants to live a miserable life. So these are things that are making some people to think, why won't I feel while in service so that I can have a better life after this? This is a very bad idea.
Okay, so with respect to that, you turned down multi-million naira bribes and contracts offered to you in the past. How difficult was it to take such a decision, and why will some of your peers or colleagues find such an offer hard to resist?
So honestly, this is a wild but damn easy decision. Why I say it's difficult? Because we all know that we have the virus individual. Everybody will need money to handle some of these own challenges. But one has to put it as a reminder that whatever you say you're on is on. Whatever you say you want to be done, and it in whatever guide you say you're on. So it's contentment. Contentment is a virtue. When you have contentment, you have everything. And so much ago with Khadija Waziri, if you remember then ACC chairman, when she said public office holders or political leaders should be undergoing psychiatric tests before they are allowed to hold any office position. Why? Because the nature of looting, the massive accumulation of when people are embarking on the economy. Somebody, even if we are allowing to live for 300 years from now, the money they gather, they tend to put is money. So you tell me, between the two, what do they do? Do they even value their future? Do they even do the people, there are some people that need to have, most of the people have the money that are budgeted for public activity, public use, and they corner them for their public interest. So, money is not everything.
Sure, money is not everything. But as we wrap up,
money is not everything. But integrity. When you have an integrity, you have to do something for your family. You have to do something for your colleagues. The issue is that at whatever level of life you have, when you achieve success in life, they will identify with you. But by the time they see you, say that you could not achieve something, you commit something, one thing will tell you, should be from you. But the problem is that people are glorifying criminals, are glorifying looters. That's the challenge. People are supposed to contribute. It's supposed to contribute in fighting the corruption.
Indeed, fighting corruption is everyone's business. But as we wrap up the segment of this discussion with you, in 1 minute, what practical steps do you think the government must take to encourage honesty amongst public servants? And what steps should government also take to tackle corruption in the public sector?
So, there are these things are in two ways. One is with regard to those that are in the service, and the other with regard to those that are out of the service, who are retired. Like the recognition of honest and sincere public servants, like what accountability lab is doing, as a name and shame honest workers. The government should also as well name and shame corrupt workers. Then, and it's the introduction of an effective system of reward and incentives so that different wage, merit-based appointment and promotion will also go a long way in fighting corruption. Effective monitoring and oversight and schedules of activities and activities of workers. Because when there's an oversight function, when there's an effective monitoring, some activities, some criminal activities will not be done. And then there's also another outlet. If the government can introduce e-governance via digital currency, which can lead to cashless society, because in that way, there is no anonymity. They will be using QR code for every transaction, and they can easily trace the source and destination of money.
Okay.
When the citizens and stakeholders participating, because public sector accountability requires civil society organizations, the anti-corruption agencies, the media, the academia, and the general public to collaborate. Most social and media participate like procurement processes.
All right, thank you.
And then the step should equally encompass the service services of public servants. Why I say that is because when a reasonable person thinks that even at retirement there are some services you can access that you can benefit because of the services, because the service you rendered to the country. He may not think because he may think in order to be able to provide himself those services. For instance,
okay, we do not have much. Can you wrap up in 30 seconds?
Yeah?
Can you wrap up in 30 seconds, please?
Yeah, I can wrap up. The government should strengthen the institutions and its mechanisms in fighting corruption. Because when the institutions are strong in fighting corruption, they can be able to handle it very well. Secondly, there's what we call target hardening approach, which is a penalization strategy. People commit crime, to commit corruption because there's an opportunity or there's a desire. The government can be able to block one of either opportunity. When there's an opportunity, even when there's no desire, people cannot see. And when there's a desire, when there's a block, they cannot commit that. And then secondly, there should be harsh legislation that will deter workers from committing this kind of offense. And then,
okay, comrade.
And because delay in recovery of profit from corruption will make people to benefit from the profit. And that will continue that even if they confiscate money, I think that can be to say something. And then,
thank you.
Of the employment of
Comrade, I think on our other episodes we'll continue with the conversation, but we must sincerely congratulate you and appreciate you for your time and for the fact that you said you're raising other people like you. That is commendable in itself. Thank you so much, Comrade, for your time. Thank you, Comrade Ibrahim. Alright, sir. Thank you. If you're just joining us, you're still on to Public Conscience on radio, a production of Crime of Progressive Impact Organization for Community Development. We just spoke with one of the icons from 2021, Comrade Ibrahim Musa Kirifi. In the studio, we have Prince Chimaroke, the communications lead at Accountability Lab Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Adobe. It's good to be here.
While Comrade Ibrahim was speaking, you were just smiling and nodding your head. I guess you're proud of the icon.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
And we must commend Accountability Lab for spotting out the integrity icon. But could you walk us through the difficulty and rigors of discovering this rare public servant? I guess you heard when he said when you initially called him, he did not quite believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so I'm sure so many other people out there did not believe.
Okay, truth is, it's usually a very difficult process. By the time you even say to anyone you're trying to find an honest person within the public service, first of all, they look at you funny. You know, they begin to wonder, are you sure you know what you're about to set out to do? You know, but like we've seen at Accountability Lab, we've started since 2017 and it's been 5 years running. And we're not in any form of doubt, or not that we stand in oblivion of the fact that they're leaving men and women who are in the public service. Of course, it's difficult to do this, but to help ease the work, what we do now is to work with volunteers across the 36 states. And also intensify our visibility because, I mean, like Ibrahim said, when we called him, I mean, he was, are we for real? You know, is this organization for real? And that's also because you have a lot of organizations who are out there who confer awards on people and ask them to pay for that award. You know, it's not a function of merit, it's a function of just, you know, conferring them with an honor which is already paid for, which for us, I think do not have any basis, you know. And if you've looked through our integrity icon process, I mean, we investigate every nomination we get. We go as far as making our investigation to be sure that this person who they say is a person of integrity is not just a mere nomination, that they are who they say they are, you know. We speak with colleagues, we speak with community members, families, and people who are around him to be sure that, are we sure this person we're about to confer, you know, no mistake, we don't want to take any chances, you know. And the surprise where you hear people, mostly when we reach out to them and you hear, just when you're calling me, I mean, am I supposed to pay something? And then we say, no, I mean, you don't have to. And we are the ones who even go as far as flying them to Abuja and, you know, making a documentary out of their lifestyle because of how exemplary they have lived, you know. And for us, we see them as beacons of hope, to say that everything is not all bad. And should they be strategically supported? Like we're doing in Accountability Lab right now, especially with the Integrity Innovation Lab, where we are creating coalitions within the public service, you know, with this men and women of integrity and building cliques of integrity champion within those spaces. You know, it goes a long way to give them the kind of encouragement they need to be able to resist corruption, you know, and then stand for integrity and accountability within their organization.
Thank you for that, but we'll still come back to you.
All
we
right.
need to get to the person listening to us at the other end of the dial and the person watching via Facebook to join the conversation.
Please follow us on our social media platforms at Official Primog.
The WhatsApp phone line to send your message to is 0902 265 6167. That is 0902 265 6167. We encourage you to send in your messages as soon as possible. How would you react to the conversation? And what do you think can be done to encourage the display of integrity by Nigerians? What must government do to promote the honest and integrity of public office holders and citizens? We have a message from Taiwo in Kuje, and he says, I am very hopeful that my beloved country Nigeria will be great again. Thank you so much, Taiwo, for your message, and we'll join you in that optimism that we would have more persons of integrity in Nigeria.
But then, Prince,
Yes,
you
please.
mentioned that when you reached out to this integrity icon, they were in disbelief.
Yes.
Do you think it's because of our moral value, the decadence in the system? Or why would they be in disbelief after reaching out to them?
Just like I said, I mean, we've had a situation where we reached out to an icon. I wouldn't want to call a name. And the feedback we got is some organization had called me sometime last year or last 2 years, and they said they were going to give me an award. And after the next call I got was I needed to pay 50,000 for confirmation, for, whatever. And these things, we hear them very often, and then we have to tell them, no, Accountability Lab is not like that. And asking why they ask is because of previous experiences that they have had with other organizations who have reached out to say they want to confer an award on them. You understand? And we ensure that whatever our process, we ensure that it's solely based on merit. You understand that you are a person of integrity, it's your lifestyle, and that you're working, the talk. You understand?
So the icon resisted bribery, which is rampant in our society today. How much of a danger does public sector corruption pose to Nigeria's development?
We can go on and on and on to talk about this, but I mean, if you look at the news, if you follow the news and see the stat, you will notice that Nigeria has lost billions of dollars owing to corruption within the public service space. And beyond how much we've lost, you look at every public service center where citizens are supposed to access, from the educational sector to the health sector to the security sector, which can you tell me is working? I don't know whether you understand. And it's just an offshoot or a consequence of the lack of integrity and accountability within these public spaces, and beyond losing funds, the citizens are no longer benefiting what they ought to benefit from the service delivery system which we have in Nigeria. You understand? And for a lot of people who are coming up, who are becoming very acclimatized with this non-working system, many of them have lost trust. I can practically say to you, if you have all the money in the world, you wouldn't work yourself to a public hospital. If you have the funds, you will definitely go to a private, because
Why is that so?
You feel that you will get better services in a private hospital than you get in a public hospital. And that's just because trust already is broken, across this public space. A lot of people have lost faith in a couple of those parastatals, you understand? And what we're trying to do now with the integrity icon is to help rebuild that trust.
So you're looking at the public sector. But do you think that citizens, you and I, who are not in the public sector, can be isolated from this public sector or corruption generally?
Not at all. I think the corruption fight involves everybody, and it affects everybody. You understand? Whether you are in the upper class or the lower class or whatever the class you put yourself, it affects everybody cut across. we're firm believers that for us to be able to change our country, and become active citizens, become responsible leaders, we must first of all take responsibility. To say that if Nigeria must change, it would have to start with me. I mean, I wouldn't want to use the term which have almost become cliche now to say change begins with me. But in actual sense, that's what it is. That everybody has to take, citizens have to be more active, take responsibilities to lead within their space. More often than not, when we talk about the decadence we find within our public service, everybody points to leadership. Everybody points to leadership. And I would not refute that, because leadership plays a vital role. The more you work under somebody who is upright, you find yourself doing things that are just upright, even unconsciously. And if you also work under somebody who is not upright, over time you would find yourself exhibiting some character you did not even believe you could exhibit, you understand. But not to say that leadership, I feel, is everybody's responsibility, because there's nobody who is alive who doesn't somehow lead. Whether you are an elder brother, an elder sister, you are a government official, you're in the private sector, there are people who within your sphere, who look up to you. And you may not even know who's watching, because you could just do what you do. You could just tell a lie in front of your kid, and you think, oh, it's just a small lie. I mean, I tell them not to lie. But the thing is, we're now in a generation where you can see from the young kids who are already trying to, do ritual money and, are already on the fast lane, or, getting wealthy. We're in such a society where the set of the new generation who are coming up are beginning to do what they see people do, and not what they see them or hear them say. You understand? And that's why for us the integrity icons.
Do you believe our parents did not do a good job? Because if the kids, the younger generation, are doing what they see their parents do, or what they see people do, that means parents, in quote, role models, in quote, are not doing what they should do.
Yes.
Which is why the children are emulating the wrong steps.
Yes. The first role model anybody had was the family unit. And by the time we get it wrong there, the next hope we have is the school system. And should you miss it there, you would have to be either religion that comes in to try to shape your already pre-existing norms, or maybe the life of a person whom you admire, either at work or within your circle. You understand?
We're religious in Nigeria.
Yes, we are.
So what is wrong?
It's one thing to be in a religious setting, it's another thing to do. They say it's not hearing, it's in the doing. That things, societies are transformed. And it's why it's important for us with the integrity icons to say, yes, it's not all bad. You still have men and women whose lifestyle have become beacons of hope, who we can now point people to say, don't think it's all bad. We have Mr. Ibrahim, we have Dr. Madeline at the university, we have Dr. Yemi Kale, who is formerly at MBS, who have not compromised on standards. Because a lot of Nigerians have given up hope thinking, where do we look? Because you look at the political space, you cannot find so many. You look at the educational space, it seems as if you can find so many. But what we'll do is to put out these icons and amplify them as much as we can, so that people can begin to see role models. And that's why I like the question you asked about. You asked Ibrahim, saying, what is he doing within his circle? And that's what we're doing with the icons. It's not just receiving their words. What's changing? The ultimate goal for us is to shift norms and change behaviors.
If your icon can replicate.
Use
one job, just one person.
One person at a time. One person at a time. I mean, one person, that's all we're looking for. One person at a time. We're supporting them with all they need from knowledge sharing, to team building within their spaces to say, yes, I've been able to do it. Tell another colleague to do it. Begin to mentor. Let's begin to form cliques of good doers, cliques of integrity champions, within that workspace. Exactly, and we're also believers that if within a public organization you have more people who are standing for integrity or accountability, and you have just less persons, perpetuating, some of these shady deals, I believe they would have better chance of resisting corruption. And that for us in the long term is what we're trying to do, to ensure that integrity now becomes an expected norm. It becomes the expected behavior within the public service. And you wouldn't do it and begin to feel odd, because now you have a coalition of people who are doing the right thing, you understand? And that for us will be a big win, one person at a time.
One person at a time. For you out there listening to us, have you been able to resist corruption? Would like you to call in and share your experience. What were you faced with? And you stood your ground to say, no, I am a person of integrity. I will not compromise standards. Or perhaps you know somebody within your neighborhood, your family, your place of work, who is standing on integrity. Call in and share the person's story. You could motivate one or two persons. Hello? Your name and where you're calling from? Okay, let's hear you.
I think the government is not ready for called corruption. I man say so. A lot of whistleblowers are victims now. A lot of people are reporting corrupt practices, but at the end of the day, they either find them, find their relatives, and make life very difficult for them. So, in Nigeria, in summary, we are not even ready to fight corruption as a government. So, people are ready to give information, relevant information, but the government on their own, they are still on fire with those people that are spoiling the country. So government is already, we should not even be talking about corruption as far as I'm concerned. You know why I say so? We have series of corruptions in virtually all the ministries in Nigeria. And they will be thinking it that so thing happen, so thing happen. And the government will just say just yes to it, and they will not do anything. So how can you deter others from doing so? So that government is even the one encouraging corruption as far as this government is concerned. I don't want apology to anybody. If not, let them show the element of seriousness in them that yes, they are ready for corruption. When people steal money, they will not do anything, rather the person will be promoted. While those people that do not do anything, or the whistleblower people, they will be recharging them.
Do you know anybody who has stolen money and it's promoted?
Where document has been shown. Go to a ask ordinary Ahmed Isa, they will give you thousands of evidence.
If you have your evidence,
not ready, they will give it.
But have you tried to reach the ICPC, Ibrahim? Did you write a petition to the ICPC?
Not a lot of people. Even let me shock you. According to the cases we have in Bolivia now, even ICPC, EFCC, they are the ones that are even telling the victims to negotiate with the corrupt officers. They are telling them to negotiate with them. So what are we saying? In Nigeria, we know that things are not well, but there is well. When all of us know that we are deceiving ourselves, we are lying. And that's why we are not seeing green light. So please, anything that has to do with corruption, this government is already. If another government come and they show green light that they are ready, then God will help them. You don't need to pay much whatever hours.
Okay, thank you so much, Ibrahim. But I must also say that ICPC created, or they have decks in, I wouldn't know how many number of the MDAs where they have their act, that is the Anti-Corruption and Transparency Unit decks. If you have a situation, or you know someone who you think that is corrupt, you have your evidence, you could go to the ACT desk of the ICPC and lay your complaint. Something I believe we have had Madam Azuka, the spokesperson of the ICPC, on this program before, and she has also assured citizens that when you write petition to the ICPC, they would look into it. Thank you so much, Ibrahim, but please do not give hope. The government on its own, it's trying, but maybe not as much as we want the government to do.
Lack of integrity by people in leadership position is taking a serious toll on the integrity of the followers. What do you think is the best method or approach to remedy the situation?
Like I said, it's about leadership. If you found someone who has done well and who had lived or embodied the virtues of integrity and accountability and are making the public service more effective by virtue of their contribution to work. I think our government should adopt a system that can allow them to rise in the rank, because the more persons they're able to directly influence, the more we can easily begin to change the narrative and begin to change some of this behavioral deficit we have when it comes to accountability and integrity within the public service space. So I would recommend, I mean, you have CSP Francis, who is doing great work in what's it called, Cross River or Akwa Ibom rather, and he's building young police officers. He's training young police officers. I would imagine if he were just a sergeant, I wouldn't know how many persons he would be able to influence. You understand?
Let me take this call. Hello. Hello. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Sunday.
Okay, you have 1 minute because of our time.
Yeah. I know you were talking about discussing about corruption.
Go ahead. Corruption. The flip side of corruption is integrity. So we are promoting integrity on today's episode.
No, they're calling a just simple solution to this problem, corruption problem, and it's because the government is not ready to do that. One, I'm using to Lee Kuan Yew, the leader of Singapore. He said, if you want to solve corruption, start from the top. How many poor people have been affected and been named and shamed? None. If they start from the top, that people you know that they are so-called untouchable, everybody will support, everybody will fall on line. So that's our contribution. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The EFCC has said last year that they secured so many convictions. The ICPC also of 2020 and 2021. So, though they are not doing so much, like I said earlier on, as we plan to wrap up because of our time, Prince, in 1 minute, government policies and plans to promote integrity remains very essential. What more would you want the President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration to do in the fight against corruption before their tenure of office ends?
I pray they find the political will to do. But I have a few suggestions. One of which would be, just like Ibrahim mentioned on the call, there are loopholes within the public service system which allows for the occurrence of corruption. If they can strengthen the accountability system they put in place within or across the public service system, that will help to check the opportunities that exist for corruption to happen. You understand? And the other thing I would say is the government will need to collaborate with CSOs. If the government tomorrow begins to say they want to begin to maybe give awards to outstanding public servants, I can dare say to you that the public will not trust the process. But if they collaborate, for instance, with an independent CSO or something, I believe it will go a long way in saying, we see the good work you're doing and we applaud you. And if possibly that comes with a promotion or something, to put that person in a place where they can begin to mentor others who are just underneath them or subordinate, I think it will rapidly begin to institutionalize integrity within the public service sector.
Okay,
yes.
Thank you so much for your contribution.
Time, yeah.
We really must go.
Please visit the news page of our website, primognews.org. That is primognews.org for all the details of our reports and interviews. Visit our website, www.primog.org, to get all the information about Primog.
And you can watch our videos on Primog TV, our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to get reminders when we have a new post. We sincerely appreciate our guests at 2021 Integrity Icon. Our shining example, like we usually call them, Comrade Ibrahim Musa Kirfi, and the communication lead at Accountability Lab Nigeria, Prince Chimaroke Chukwuka. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Public Conscience has the support of the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation, committed to building a more just, vibrant, and peaceful world. Get more information about the foundation on its website, macfound.org.
Join us again here next week for another episode of Public Conscience, and remember to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram @OfficialPrimog. I am Esther Bassi.
And remember that birth registration and birth certificate are both free if your child is under the age of 18. Help stop the corruption in birth registration. Do not pay for birth certificates. And also remember that you can give us information or hints about corrupt acts through our phone 0902 265 6167 or info@primorg.org. I am, and that will be Obiabumo. Stay safe.